Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Primetime Jerry Royce, and you're on the party line with the incredible Mr. Right. This is a Positive Power 21 Network Entertainment and a production of Royce Enterprises Incorporated. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this presentation of the party line with the incredible Mr. Right. You can reach us at www.uncoveringmrright.com, and that's separated with hyphens.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Royce from PositivePower21.org Network with the 21 podcast crew. And I appreciate my team helping me get this program up and running. Tonight, we're going to be hosting the party line with Mr. Right. And our guest tonight is going to be Hamilton Johns from Baltimore, Maryland. How you doing, Hamilton? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing very well. How are you?
All right, doing good. And we got Latrina from Detroit. She's the diva out there. She had a great party. I think it was last month for her birthday. We had hosted a big party group. We had a number of her guests on the show. You guys can hear it on our website. You can Google Uncovering Mr. Right if you've never been there before, and go in there and listen to He Said, She Said with Latrina Davis and Reese Cortland. Fantastic program. And tonight on the party line, we're going to be getting down with Hamilton, find out what's going on out there in the dating world. And hello, Latrina. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Jerry. You got Latrina here again from Detroit. I'm glad to be on the show with you. How you doing tonight, Hamilton?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. Now, Latrina, you had an opportunity to meet Hamilton. I had a nice little cookout gathering, and we had a chance to all sit out there on a deck, and we had some barbecue and some drinks and everything. So, you're pretty acquainted with who he is, right?
Yes, I am.
Absolutely. So, Hamilton, before we get started, can you give our audience a little background about yourself?
Okay, well, I live in the Baltimore County area. I am 34, and currently I work in the federal government in the Social Security Administration.
All right. Now, how about children? Do you have any children?
No children.
No children. All right, but you do have nephew and nieces, so you know the deal.
Oh, yes, I have one nephew and two nieces. So, I kind of know how it goes.
Wow, so your brother stepped it up. I forgot about the two girls.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun over there.
I bet it is, and I'm sure you had a great holiday with them.
Oh, yeah, I had a very good time. I got to spend time with the kids and, figure out what they're into, and, it's just, fun to see them running around. Always have a good time with them, especially, seeing how they kind of remind us of ourselves when we were young.
Absolutely. So, there's nothing bigger than the joy of watching a child's face when they run down and look under that tree, man. Woo! Nothing like it in the world. All right, we're gonna get started on Uncovering Mr. Right, and we're gonna let Latrina come out with the first question for you.
Well, Hamilton, let's just get right down to it. I hear that you have your own place, your own transportation, a good job, pay your own bills. Could you please tell us why you're single, if you're looking, or if you're waiting for that person to find you?
Well, I think right now it's just a matter of just haven't found the right woman, but I just believe in being patient and definitely being open. Certainly someone to spend the rest of my life with is that's probably the most important decision that I can make, and I definitely want to know that I'm doing the right thing, and not rush into such a decision. But I definitely believe that there are a lot of good ones out there. It's just a matter of finding the right one.
All right. Now,
go ahead, Jerry.
No, I'll go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just so anxious to jump right into that. Because I know Hamilton, and we talk all the time, but now I got to find a way to act like I don't know what's going on out there. But Hamilton, my question is, okay, you're a pretty laid back dude. You pretty much have everything a woman would be looking for at this time of her life. Like you said, you're 34 now. If you're looking at a woman, you're probably looking at the late 20s, early 30s. She should have some maturity. At that point, maybe she does have a child or two. So it's up to you to decide if you want a, ready-made family. So basically tell us, we know you didn't find a one, but have one come close? That's my first question.
At this point, there have been a couple who I think had potential, but just weren't quite the one. Sometimes sometimes in dating, you sort of want to, take certain things about one person and, transplant them into the other, but it doesn't quite work that way. Of course, I do understand that no one person is going to be perfect, but it's just a matter of finding someone who's right for me. And so far, I can't say that there's been one that I think got away, but it's all been a learning experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Hamilton. With that being said, I know that everyone's different, and sometimes you don't want to put initial pre-decisions on individuals, but are there any qualities that you look for initially in an individual? Even though you want to be open and different people bring different things to the table, but what are the top qualities that you look for in a lady that you're looking to possibly spend the rest of your life with?
Well, one thing I think I would need in someone, definitely someone who's a little more even-keeled, someone who's constantly temperamental, or someone who's very up and down. That becomes problematic because you never know what you're going to get from that person. So definitely, I'm looking for someone who has a pretty laid-back temperament. Also, someone who's intelligent. They don't have to be a PhD or anything, but I certainly have to have an intellectual connection with them also.
All right, that was a good one, Ham. Now, Ham, you pretty laid back. Now, how would that work out if she's laid back? I mean, how would you guys entertain one another? Shouldn't you be hooking up with a person that's more like an extrovert that's out there? I mean, she's smart. She got everything you're looking for. She got the mind, the body, the career and everything. Or even she's moving forward for career. Even if she doesn't have a degree, she's working on. At least she's ambitious. I mean,
yeah.
You wouldn't go for extrovert?
There's nothing wrong with someone who's extroverted. It really depends on how far out there they are. Nothing wrong with someone can be outgoing. That's fine, but are they too far out there where they constantly have to be out? I'm someone I do prefer a simpler life. If going out sometimes is fine, but
right.
Someone who's got to be out all the time, that may not work for me.
Now, but how about she's quiet like you? I mean, how you guys entertain each other? You're sitting there watching TV. She's quiet, you quiet. I mean, these persons, they don't bore you?
And there's still certain stuff that you can still do together, to be entertained.
Right.
As long as you find some common interests.
Okay.
I think when people have that, that's at least a start.
Yeah, that's true. All right, now Trina, I'm gonna bring you in. on your question, and then we're going to bring in Miss Dixon, and she's going to take my place for a bit while I engineer, and y'all go at Mr. Wright, okay?
That sounds good. A question for you. Do you feel that sometimes it might be an issue with a woman who might make more money than you? Nowadays, times have been changing, and you do find some males who, I don't know if I want to use the word feel intimidated, but sometimes if there's a woman who might be highly educated or might be at a more financial stance in their life right now, would you have a problem with that?
No. A woman making more money is not a problem because, as long as you're not in a relationship based on money,
True.
It's based on the two people. So as long as the money is not, used as some type of leverage in a relationship, I don't think it would be a problem at all.
Hey, that sounds good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let our third co-host who just joined us go ahead and ask you some questions if she has some ready for you.
Okay.
All right,
Mr.
Sharon,
Hamilton.
welcome to the show, Sharon.
How you doing, Jerry? Hi, Mr. Hamilton. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I was listening to you, but I guess one of my main concerns are the women that you're dating, what are their age? Because you sound like you are a person who is very comfortable, and you're looking for someone to build off of that. But what are the age of the women that you're dating if they're not there?
Generally they're around my age, within a few years of my age, give or take, 2 or 3 years. So they're in my age range.
Have you ever dated a much older person? Or have you ever looked into possibly seeking someone maybe a couple of years older?
I've given it some thought. I've gone out with someone who was. I went out with someone a couple times that was. I think she was 12 years older than me. That wasn't bad. That's something I would consider.
But what is it that you saw in that person that was 12 years older than you that you liked or didn't like?
Well, I do like the fact that they had that they've had a chance to be younger and do whatever younger people like to do, and they were a little more settled and not feeling like they're always missing out on something. So I think that can be an advantage of dating someone who's older.
That might be your advantage. I mean, because it sounds as though you're saying you're looking for that right person, and most of the women that are in their 30s, they're still career. They're not ready to settle down nor have family. The only disadvantage of a much older woman is that she's may have already had family and may not be looking to want to have more kids, but they be more willing to settle down, and then they're able to bring something to the table.
What you say about that, Ham?
That's one way to look at it.
That was a good question too. That was a good question, Ham, because like say you are dating a woman that's 12 years and she's kind of like past the point where she want to have children, and then later on it's okay that it's not like that. But what happens like 5, 6, 7 years, and then you say, oh wow, I really would like to have children, but she don't want to do that,
That's something that they have to talk about.
Yeah, that's probably something we'd have to talk about sooner than later. And if it's determine if I would have to really make up in my mind if if it's something that I can live with, that she's older and probably had all the children that she wants. So
that's right.
I think it really depends on the relationship, on how we, how the two of us gel. I think that if we have something that's strong enough, I don't know, perhaps I would still continue in the relationship, even though we may not have children.
All right, good. All right, Trent, you got something for him?
Yeah, I do. Now, on that same kind of subject, Hamilton, in regards to maybe looking for someone older, or whatever the case may be, do you, individuals you've dated in your past, when you found out maybe there were problems or something maybe you didn't like or disagreed with, were you open in communicating with them and telling them your concerns and giving them the opportunity to take a look at it from your point of view?
Well, yes, I was open to, discussing some things. Sadly, sometimes you can do that, but then, things don't really change. So, after a while, you just can't keep going down the same road with people. Things just, if you're constantly putting in the effort, but things don't really go anywhere. There's not much you can really do. But yes, I have been open to expressing some concerns that I've had, and sometimes it works out. Other times, things just continue as they are.
I'm gonna kind of shift the conversation a little bit. How do you feel about don't ask, don't tell? And do you feel it's okay to not tell if you have not been asked?
Well, don't ask, don't tell, or with, I guess, with which issues?
In regards to any issues, maybe something that you've done in your past, or maybe if you had cheated, or maybe something financially happened, or any type of aspect, meaning is it okay to keep things to yourself and don't tell it unless you've only been asked in regards to any specific, situation?
Well, I guess sometimes you have to, if it's something that, has a big impact on the relationship, I think you have to tell, because it'll, the problem will only get worse later. So, if it's something that's, that's very pressing, you have to. I don't think the don't ask, don't tell approach will work. You have to be open about it.
Well, when do you feel as though that you should, in a relationship, when you should be able to be more open? Because I'm not a fan of don't ask, don't tell, because I'm a true believer that what you don't tell will come out. But then it's not going to be a truthful and honest relationship, because you're holding back something that, if it come out later, could hurt the relationship. So when do you find that the time to divulge all that information, or to divulge yourself? I know you don't come right out and just, I hope that you don't come right out and just tell all of you. But when do you find the time, or when do you feel as though that's the time to be able to tell much about yourself?
I don't know if there's a particular time that someone should put on it, but I think that as a relationship is starting to progress, and people are starting to become more invested in it, if it's something that's major, it's better to tell sooner than later, just so that it doesn't appear that you've really been keeping things from them. So I think probably at a point where, things have gotten very serious.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Well, thank you for that. Do you think that it's okay for couples to still maintain relationships with exes? I mean, as you're getting older, I know that I still have some individuals that I might have dated in the past, but as you start to get older and you guys had a friendship, so that's kind of left behind, and you have coworkers, you just have different people you interact with on a daily basis. Do you think that there should be a line drawn when you start to date someone else in regards to still maintaining a strong relationship with individuals that you dated in your past?
Well, when you say maintaining a relationship with someone that you've previously dated, I guess what type of relationship? Is it something where you're constantly in touch with them, or something where maybe you see the person around occasionally, but you don't see them that often?
Well, maybe any type of relationship, or maybe there might be someone who says that they're best friends with someone that they dated in the past. But let's take that situation. Someone who says, "Oh, my best friend is someone that I dated in the past, and now we're best friends." Maybe that situation.
If you're best friends with someone that you previously dated, then I think they should be open to them meeting the person you're with and really getting to know that person, and seeing if your significant other is comfortable with it, because many people wouldn't be comfortable with that, because sometimes an old feeling can come back. So I really think it's up to the kind of interaction that those two people have with the new person. Because everyone has to be comfortable with the situation, and if they're not, then perhaps a change needs to be made.
Well, can we go back to you're a single guy, and you say you are the right guy, but you're just not finding the right girl. What makes you say that you're the right guy and you can't find the right girl? What is it about your qualities other than you have a good job and you have your degrees and you save money and you have a car? Those are all well and good, but what makes you so much of the right guy? Maybe the women that you're looking at may not feel that way.
Well, that's possible. I think that you're the right person mainly based on your character, not so much on some of the measurables that most people can see. It's all about the kind of person you are. It's about it's also about the people who know you the most, how they feel about you. People who spend time around you, what they see also. But I feel it's more about it's mostly about the person that I am. I feel that I deal with people very fairly, and that I'm very generous and caring with other people, with friends and family and people that I work with. And I think that the kinds of relationships I have with them and how I treat them really makes me a right person.
So with that being said, if you are all of that, why haven't the right girl come along? Because, I know women that is looking for that kind of guy, but if you are that type of guy, where you hiding yourself at where they can't find you?
Good question, Sharon.
Well,
you hiding. Apparently you ain't out there, because there are women who are looking for you. So if you in Baltimore, you must be in a small portion of Baltimore where they cannot locate you, and they need to find you.
Thank you.
So where are you, Ham?
Well, sometimes these things just take a little time and patience. It's not quite as easy as we want to make it sound sometimes. Sometimes maybe you just deal with a couple of people who had some good qualities, but just weren't the right one.
Yeah, but
and that's okay. I mean, not every person is going to be right for you.
Right,
some
but
people
you
find the
are
right
out
person
there.
when they're younger. Some maybe a little older, but
But
either
where
way,
are
I don't
you?
get the
Where
problem.
are you? But where are you so they can find you? Because if you're in the house, they're not going to find you.
Right.
So where are you?
What kind of things do you do, Hamilton? Any activities that you do on the weekends? Do you have any friends that possibly you might have get-togethers? Are you going out and meeting people, or are you more of kind of a quiet in-person?
I mean, I go out. Actually, most weekends I'll probably go out, go hang out with a couple of friends, maybe on a Saturday or something, maybe later on a Friday, get together. So I do go out. I'm not someone who's out all the time. I don't keep the same kind of hours I did when I was 20. I mean, that's just a part of growing up. But I do interact with. I have a bunch of friends that I hang out with, and I meet friends of theirs, and so you have that opportunity to meet some people. But it's generally I do meet a decent amount of people.
So since you are going out, from time to time, and you are putting yourself out there sometimes, are you not saying that you're making yourself available to everyone, but how would someone know that you were interested in them?
Or you're out there.
Yeah, you're approachable.
Yeah. Are you? I mean, because that's what Inquiring Minds wants to know. There's a lot of women that's probably out here listening on the phone and saying, "Wow, that's the guy that I want to be with." But how can they know? Where they at? They probably looking for you.
They can email me.
Yeah, like I got a question for you, Ham. Like, because Ham, you work for a very big agency. I mean, I know it's like 60,000 people work for their place, and I know it's not 60,000 in Baltimore, but the building you work in, known as Peyton Place. Now, are you dating women in the building, like in the workplace, or you just say, hey, I don't want to bring that to work, in case the relationship goes
Well,
south?
generally the work thing, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I have gone out with a couple, at work, but I'm generally kind of careful about that because, I'm in a big building, but it's still a pretty small place.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes there can be a downside of it. You're at work, and then when things go south between you and the other person, still seeing them fairly regularly, that can become a little bit uncomfortable. But I'm open to dating in the workplace, but that's something you have to be very careful about because I don't want that to end up affecting me socially or, more importantly, professionally.
Right, that's true. Now, I mean, do you end your relationships on a bad note like that? Or, because I remember I dated quite a few women in that building back in the early 80s. And, it's like we went out, but we became friends. But, it's at a certain point you say, hey, this is not going to go no further than lust. So we're going to be friends, though. And still to this day, if I see them, we can still, be friends, talk. So I'm just saying, I mean, do your relationship and like they feel like throwing their pocketbook at you if they see you in the elevator and beat you up?
Well, it can be kind of mixed. Some end better than others. But, it's just.
So give us an example of one that ended pretty bad. What happened?
Okay.
No names, but.
Well, oh yeah, certainly not.
You can make up a name.
But, I had a situation where I was seeing someone, and I guess after a while, things just weren't, well, without getting too into particulars, things didn't go too well, and it led to kind of a confrontation. And after that, for a while, things were not too good between us, and I really don't want that. I really don't want that in the place I have to work.
Oh,
but did you make it clear? Because one thing about with men and women, we could get the wrong message if it's not given to us clearly, because we perceive things one way, even though it's not the way that it is.
Oh,
and I know men can have a way of saying, or having us believe that it's this, to only learn that it's that. So the main thing is that, was it clear? Because in finding a relationship with a person, you got to be honest, you got to be open, and you got to be clear. If it's just nothing more than, hey, we just going to hang out, then make that clear. And
right,
then that way you won't have that issue up in there, because if it becomes an issue, you can always go back to it and say, I made it clear. This is just what it is. And if they buy into that, then that's on them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two adults, yeah. Two adults talking.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened, Ham? I mean, you didn't make it clear to her that, we're going to be friends, we're going to go out, we're going to kick it, but did she want to be more, or you wanted to be more? What was the deal?
Oh, I think we both wanted it to be more, but I think we wanted it in different ways. And I think that's probably what caused some of the problem. But
so you just cut her loose? So did you just cut her loose?
Or did you text her and cut her loose?
Yeah,
no, I didn't.
Emailed her. You emailed her.
We just agreed to stop seeing each other. But I didn't text her that or anything.
Now, Hamilton, with that and with your past relationships, sometimes it takes two to tango, and sometimes we look at others' faults before we look at our own. Do you ever take a step back and reevaluate the situations that you've had to see how you handle things and how you could possibly handle them differently in future relationships?
Yes. I certainly wouldn't claim that I've never done anything wrong, or that none of it's my fault, because I think both people should take some accountability, when things don't go well. But I have kind of looked back on things and understood some of the mistakes I've made. Because I think some issues that some people, maybe a couple women have had with me, were valid. So it's all about understanding that and trying to improve as a person.
Well, did you see those as maybe as part of your downfall for the reason why you have not found that person? Because sometimes we can look at ourselves and hold that against us, and instead of taking it for what it is and then moving forward.
Well, I've understood, understanding that I've had a role in some, some negative things also. It's difficult to point the finger of blame at yourself sometimes, but I understand that's a part of really getting ready for a serious relationship. So I've had a chance to look back at some things and evaluate myself and also fairly evaluate, other people, how they may feel, and how I dealt with some of their faults.
Mm-hmm.
And just like anyone else, I have my improvements to make. I certainly don't. I'm far from perfect.
I got a good question before you ask him something, Sharon. Now, Ham, are you a romantic guy? I mean, the flowers, the child. I mean, do you know how to spoil a woman when you first meet them? That you gave them so much of yourself that when it was time to end it or just be friends, she got angry because she thought you was a good catch.
I don't know if I would say I spoil someone right away, but I mean, with time, I'll just gradually do more. But I probably don't do all of those things right away. It's it's more of a gradual thing. Once I've been seeing someone a while, and I feel things are going pretty well.
Well, Hamilton, let's say that you had a young lady that you were interested in, and you wanted to take her out on a date. What would your first date be like? What would you do? What would be your evening?
It would be something pretty.
You don't pull no tricks out of your hat.
Now we see why Hamilton ain't got he a single man. He had to think about it.
He's like, oh wow, what did I do? Yeah. Hey Ham, look, Ham, it's like I think you posted a question on our blog, Latrine. It's like, was it you or maybe it was another person? It's like it's like being sneaky on the first date. How are you sneaky on the first date? Meaning, how are you trying to lure this person into your den?
Right.
That's the objective as a man. We physical. We trying to, we want to get to know enough for her that we're not going to walk away with something bad. But at the same time, we want to get to know her that if we want to see her again and again and again, all that comes out on the first date. So you got to kind of pull all the bells and the whistles out.
Yeah.
What are your bells and whistles?
Well, I guess I've just sort of done things a little differently. And if you're pulling out everything on the first date, then what do you really have to go to later on?
Oh, you never have to pull out everything. There's always something different each and every time. So you'll never pull out everything.
But the thing is, from your first date, and then on, things should be, things should progress. If you're doing if you're doing a whole bunch of, there's nothing wrong with flowers and candy and, stuff like that, but those things early on, I think I would have to really get to know this person before I'm doing those things, because if I'm doing that on the first date and then within 2 or 3 weeks I know that they're really not worth that, I mean, what have I really gained there? What have either of us gained? It's just been kind of a waste. I think that on a first date, for me, things are pretty basic. We'll go out to eat, maybe we'll go to a couple of stores, maybe walk around the mall or something like that. Something pretty simple. But
suppose she does not a mall person and doesn't want to walk around the mall. Suppose she wants the simpleness.
Simpleness, as in
maybe dinner and a movie or play.
Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that plenty of times.
But you want to take her to the mall? Then she'll really be wanting to go in your pockets.
I got a good question for her. All right, let's play devil advocate.
Just because we're going to a mall doesn't mean I'm taking someone on a shopping spree.
But I don't think she wants to go to a mall on her first date. She can go to a mall anytime.
It's just an example. It doesn't have to be that.
All right, Ham, tell you what, Ham.
It can be anything. You can be, doing that. Doesn't have to be going to a mall. Could be, maybe going downtown, going to the Inner Harbor, maybe going to a museum or something like that. It doesn't have to be, just that one little thing of, okay, going to a mall, then going to a dinner and a movie. You can mix it up, but and the point of a date early on is to really get to know the person. It's not always about where you are.
Hamilton, I have.
And that's really what it's supposed to be about, unless women are just going on dates to go places and be seen.
Latrina got a question for you.
I do. I'm going to kind of shift it just a little bit. I got to ask this question. Men are always saying that, not all men, some men, say that they want a freak in the sheets and a lady in the streets. What are your views on that statement, and do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah, who doesn't want that?
Now, you
every guy
answered that
wants the freakiest
question
woman he can take to meet grandma. That's pretty simple.
Hamilton, you answered that faster than my question on what would you do for your first date.
Yeah,
that question was easy. I mean, that's ingrained in every man's mind.
But you got work for
asking a guy
that.
1 + 1.
But don't you got to work for that? Don't you got to work hard for that, though?
Work hard for.
Yeah, they get there. The first base, the home run.
Oh well, to get to the home run?
Yeah.
Well, you should have to. You should have to work. Put in some work to get there. If it's someone that you're serious about and you're becoming invested in, that should require work. I think that's fine.
All right, Ham. Now I got one for you since we're on that subject. All right, you're dating this woman. You met her, kind of unexpectedly. Exchange numbers. Maybe met at a workshop or something like that. So you don't really see her around your building. Maybe she's in headquarters or somewhere. And you like her physically. You're attracted to her, and she seemed like she was pretty interested. And you could tell in the class, the 2-day workshop. We just setting it up, okay? All right. You got, so say for example, you say the first date is going to be you're going to go over to headquarters and have lunch with her for an hour. Just to get to know her first, okay? Now you're starting to see a lot of qualities that you really like about her. You say, wow, this could be Miss Right here. Now, here's a man. We always say we physical. Now, are you going for the home run first? You say, well, let me just, hit a single, get a double, take her head, see if she like the things you like. Let her, just like Sharon said in her early, conversation with me, do some things, some common things together. You decide on some things, she decide on some things. Now you're really starting to say, wow. Now, sometimes taking a person to bed really, really early sometimes can kind of spoil it, because men kind of put women in different categories sometimes, Yeah. So, you kind of want her to be like fine wine. You just want this whole thing to just simmer and just get right. How you feel about that? Has it happened yet? Is it going to happen?
Well, that something like that, where you meet someone and you like them right away, and you really think this person could be compatible with you. And sex isn't really isn't necessarily the first thing that comes to your mind. And of course, that's something you'll eventually want. But you're willing to wait when you feel you have someone of quality. So, doing a few things with them first. Going out, hanging out in different places. Maybe you go somewhere with them to meet up with, a few of your friends or a couple of their friends. Just doing things like that. And that's fine because you're really building a rapport. And when people are doing that, eventually, the bed, that'll come later.
Now, have that happened to you yet, where you had a young lady where you just waited it out because you just want to really get to know her? You don't want that to be the, I guess the spoiler in a way of speaking.
That complete scenario has not played out in that order just yet. But So it'll happen.
Okay, all right.
But,
well, ladies,
so far it's still a process.
Still a process. All right, my man. All right, ladies, we coming to the closure of Uncovering Mr. Right on the party line with Hamilton Johns and Latrina. We're gonna let you go ahead and close it up with your last question for him. And Hamilton, you can take as long as you want to answer the question. We're not rushing you off the line, but we're gonna give the ladies each one last question, and then we'll close out this segment. 10-4.
Okay.
Right. My last question for you is, what kind of advice could you give to women who are possibly not per se looking for their Mr. Right, but maybe waiting for their Mr. Right, taking a look at some of your past relationships, maybe some things that maybe you disagreed with on maybe how women approached you or how they interacted or communicated with you. What are some suggestions in your experiences that you could give advice to the ladies on the line?
I think the most important advice I could give to the ladies is that it's best to just look at the big picture and have some patience. I mean, it's understandable that you want to find the right guy and settle down and have the family in the house. I mean, that's great, but sometimes you just have to be patient and understand that the next guy you meet, it's fine to want those things, but don't. It's best not to rush that whole idea on a man right away. I think it should be a gradual process where you two are becoming more invested in each other. It can't be, I met this nice guy yesterday, and we're gonna go out, and then within 2 or 3 weeks, the question of marriage is coming up. That's I don't really think I don't know if it's the best thing to do that, but just be patient, and after a while, they should make sure that both people ultimately want the same thing.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Han. All right, Miss Sharon.
I can't think of any question. I mean, I understand about the patient because, there are women out here who are patient and they're going to take their time because they want to make sure that they have the Mr. Right as well. But at the same time, a lot of women are looking for a man that they can have fun with or communicate with or do things. And we're not talking, I know you were saying about out in the street, but not every woman out here is out in the street. A lot of women just want to be with a man, a guy that they can share some things with, some intimate things, go some intimate place. How about show up at a fair or a party with a guy on their arm that they really care for instead of going there with their single women? So that part about them being patient is it's something that they have. I think one thing maybe I could say to you is if you're the perfect guy or you're the right guy, that right woman is out there, but apparently you're not out there for them to see these fine qualities that's in you, and just stepping out there. Everybody's not perfect, but just stepping out there and taking a chance and being faith that hope that you do run into the right one, that she's everything you're looking for. I mean, you got the package, but it's just finding the right girl to be with you.
Yeah, that's really what it's about. It's just about finding the right person, and doesn't take everyone the same amount of time.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
You can't really look at other people. Some people find the right person in high school or college. Yeah, some maybe a little later.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, my mother always told me, for every man there's a woman, for every woman there's a man. But it's just the right man and the right woman. But, you know, maybe just look things over and say, maybe my status might be too high, or I don't know. But you ain't out there, because I got single girlfriends.
Sarah, you need to give him his email. Is that what you said, Hamilton?
And then, I was going to say he becomes something crazy, and they look at me. No. But I'm a firm believer. I don't believe in work relationship on the job. I mean, for some it's good, for some it's not. But you have to be a very strong individual and very mature person that you don't take your personal to work.
But that's true. That's
and you know what, though? It's a lot of married couples.
Not always the best thing.
Sorry, Ham, I was talking over you, but I was going to say it's funny because I've been meeting a lot of couples, young couples, that's married or seeing somebody seriously. I said, well, what does he do? They said, oh, he works here, and they may be in another building downtown. So I mean, being in the same building on the same floor can sometimes be an issue, but some people have to survive some of those situations. You really love someone. I mean, that is the person for you.
Yeah.
The love is stronger than what other interference can partake in.
Exactly. And that is so true, because if you really care and love for that person so deeply, you would not let anything come forth in between it, regardless. So it can happen at the job.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sometimes you feel like it's not enough time in the day to spend with that person because you want to be with them so much.
That's true.
That's very true.
That's true.
So I wouldn't let that be because I'm telling you, Ham, when I was there in the 80s, I met some very, very lovely ladies. But because I was so young, I knew I wasn't ready till I was going to be 29. And I was like, it's funny because even as a man and you meet that woman, it's like, is she going to cause you to drop every single thing you're doing so you can keep her? And none of them have done that. It didn't happen till I turned 29. But I think I could have still, I wouldn't say settled for them, because we got along so well, but I just felt like it was just so much more I wanted to do that I knew they wouldn't accept it. I'm not going to throw all that stuff out there, but they wouldn't be able to handle it, So, to end on that note, I want to say thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in my first segment of the Party Line. Hamilton, you was a very good guest. You were very challenging for the ladies. And also, to help take everything to the next level, we are working on putting this show out there on Friday, maybe at a restaurant that we all can come out and mingle and meet and greet and do a show. So I'm working on that right now as we speak. So you guys that's listening can come out and you can meet guys like Hamilton that's on the show, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to uncover them, right?
Yeah.
All right.
True.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, Hamilton.
All right. Thank you. Everyone have a good night.
You too.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining us with Uncovering Mr. Right on the Party Line. Stay tuned. And you'll see our schedule regularly on our website to let you know who our up-and-coming guests are. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.